Jenny Jaffe. 15 seconds of curtain, Jenny Jaffe.
I'll be ready in 5.
Welcome to 15 Seconds to Curtain, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where Muppet fans talk with notable Muppet fans about, what else? The Muppets. Our guest today is a hilarious writer, comedian, and tweeter whose work you can see on College Humor, Nikki and Sarah Live, the Big Hero 6 TV series, and the upcoming Rugrats reboot. Her animated series, Saloon, was recently picked up by Fox, and we're pretty much getting this interview in just before she becomes a household name. We are extremely proud to welcome Jenny Jaffe to the podcast. Hello, Jenny.
Hi. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so good to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me and talk about my favorite subject, so I'm really stoked.
Oh, great. I'm so excited. So to start, can you please tell me, what is it that you love about the Muppets?
I've been a big Muppets fan for a long time, obviously. And I think that they're like the epitome of like smart, dumb comedy. Like everything's really big and really goofy, but also like really smart and really heartfelt. And it just hits this really sweet intersection when it's done well. Which it is most of the time, a few notable exceptions.
Wait a minute. So wait. Now we have to pull on that thread.
Yeah.
What are your notable exceptions?
Oh, I used to recap the ABC reboot of the Muppets for Vulture.
Yes, we definitely have to talk about that.
We've talked about this, I think. And I basically my job, it seems like, became figuring out why does something that ostensibly should work just not work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just that Muppets are not built for like a single camera sitcom cynicism. Like Muppets need the format to be goofy and really big, and also they need to be the show also ignored a lot of existing dynamics between the Muppets in a way where I was like, you just have like 70 years of history. You can't just like write Camilla out of it. Like it was just stuff like that where it's like the show would just pick and choose what it needed in order to service the format as opposed to what it needed to service the characters and the heart of the show. And it had pockets where it felt like it remembered what it was, but overall, I just felt like it sort of misread what makes the Muppets work, and it also like leaned very heavily on pop culture and celebrities, and like obviously the original Muppet Show and Muppet Show Tonight did those things as well, but it's like everything was in service of the Muppets.
That's true.
And this was like the Muppets were in service of everything else.
Yeah, you make a really good point, too, about how the show kind of started out with having these pre-established characters. Because any other show, even something like The Office, which is rebooted from or brought over from the UK, it's like you might kind of be familiar with the characters, but this is like a new spin on them. But the Muppets, you can't really do that because not only are they characters that we've been like watching on TV and in movie theaters and on YouTube for decades, for like our entire lives, but they also don't age. So it's like we kind of just pick them up from 1979 and plop them down in 2015 or whatever year that show came out, and didn't. And if you're ignoring that, if you're ignoring the history and ignoring the character, and just kind of expecting it to work.
Yeah, and by the way, when I said 70 years, I meant since the 70s.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, that's going to sound like my math was so terrible.
You know what, though? You're not that far off because, like, Kermit the Frog is from the 50s, so he's over 60 years old.
That's true.
So,
but he was very different.
That's true. That's true.
And, like, I've been involved in reboots and understand, like, how things change, and you do have to, like, consider the audience and everything, but the Muppets, I think, have remained, like, first of all, like, one of the most enduring franchises. But I think like the reason that they've struck a chord they've been plopped into so many things, and it's because their point of view always is like stronger than whatever the genre or the format is. And then this was an instance where the format seemed to overwhelm the characters in a way that just I didn't think worked. And the like kind of like good outcome from all of this is that I like kind of attribute that particular show to where my career is now, just because through the process of it, I ended up meeting this woman who's like a very like in her like her resume is pretty incredible, but at the time she was a producer on the Muppet Show, Nell Scovell, and she read my recaps. Or she was a producer on the Muppets, the ABC ones. And she was reading my recaps, and we kind of like connected over that. And she's the person who introduced me to Bob Schooley and Mark McCorkle at Disney, which is how I got my job at Big Hero 6. So like in this indirect way, like the Muppets and like that show being inept ended up being a very good thing for me personally.
Right, yeah, for you and nobody else.
For me and pretty much nobody else. I mean, right. I just think like it just was not the right fit of form and character, and I get what they were trying to do.
And the nice thing about it, though, is after something like that, I think a lot of people, mostly the fans, because I don't really know what's going on like within the walls of Muppet headquarters, but like the fans have really narrowed down into the idea of like what the Muppets should be. And I usually hate that turn of phrase because we all kind of have a different idea of what the Muppets should be. And then you're basically, whenever something happens, you're going to be disappointing like 75% of your fans. But something like this, where like originally I would think like, oh, they're getting a sitcom. Like, oh, they're making a TV show within a show again. And like, these are all good things. And it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like what does matter is, you know, the tone, the characters, like the correct kind of humor, you know, that's kind of that good mix, like you were saying before about like the good and the bad, and you know, not having it be cynical. You know, we want the Muppets to make a show.
That's the other part of it, right? Is you need the Muppets to be the driving force, and we have to put on a show. Like that's the let's put on a show is the Muppets ethos in one sentence. And so when you have something where it's like they are really clearly being driven by a network within, not just like by the network that they're on, but by the network within the world of the show.
Right.
They're being compelled to make a show that they don't necessarily seem to be on board for. And that the show was not a like ensemble Muppet show. The show within the show was a talk show for Miss Piggy. And I feel like that's part of the problem, is that it was more of like a 30 Rock or something. And people have pointed out that 30 Rock like and the Muppets share some DNA.
Oh, for sure.
But it wasn't like this big ensemble cast trying to make things happen that they all cared about. It was like the way it feels working on a TV show, where it's like you love your job, but you're frustrated and you're there to do a job. It's the altruism of the Muppets need to perform sort of wasn't in there.
Sure. And what's interesting is like what you just described, there's elements of that are in the old Muppet Show. It's just they were done completely differently. Like, for example, there was no network telling, Kermit the Frog what kind of show he should put on, but he did have the character J.P. Gross, Scooter's uncle, who like owned the theater, and he's got a big stake in whatever the show is, and whatever he wanted, the Muppets kind of had to do. But they did have the idea of like the Muppets are still doing the show that they want to make. And they may be really bad at it, like in universe, but it's like there's nobody there like compromising their artistic integrity, at least from their intentions. And that's exactly what's happening on the Muppets from the more recent show of like, we don't even know what kind of show they wanted to make, but whatever they're making, they're all miserable.
Yeah, they don't love making it. And the show that they're making is it's a talk show. It's not a big Muppet variety show. And I think that's the sort of other element of it, is it's like they're writing words for Miss Piggy to say, and when they're going to have celebrity guests, and sort of the other Muppets aren't necessarily involved. And I think the best episodes, there were 2 episodes that involved all of the Muppets getting in on the action on stage, and I'm like, that's the first time it's felt like the Muppets to me.
Right.
It's like there's no element of like controlled chaos in the show itself. It was all the Muppets like dealing with personal life problems around a show.
Right, and then those episodes that you mentioned, they were like right there at the end of the season when I believe they got a new showrunner, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they were starting to course correct a bit. And it's funny because like I feel like if you watch a talk show now, like if you watch like Jimmy Fallon or something, that feels more like something that the Muppets would do. Compared to anything else that's on TV nowadays, because it's like, yeah, you've got your celebrity moments and you've got your songs and your sketches, and like that. I feel like they could have done all that from the start, and they didn't think to start adding that stuff in until like episode 12, which is like way too late in the game.
Right. Well, it's also like really early on they were like leaning hard on the celebrity guests, but. Mm-hmm. The thing that I feel like the show missed is that Muppets are celebrities. Within our world, it would be harder pressed to find someone who doesn't know who Kermit the Frog is than find someone who doesn't know who Reese Witherspoon is. And they had this whole episode where the whole thing was Piggy and Reese Witherspoon were in competition with each other over something. And I'm like, that just feels like such weird network shoehorning, because you want the main characters to be in conflict primarily with each other. Like, that just feels like basic TV writing. And then also, like, you don't need it to be a human celebrity, because Muppets are a draw in themselves. They have a fan base, and people like them. Like, they just weren't being judicious with how they were using that, and it felt really strange. And then also, again, to do an entire episode about how sad Gonzo is that he's single and never mention Camilla broke my heart. Yep. That's the moment I was like, this show doesn't know what it's doing or talking about. Because, like, you're not, like, I mean, first of all, like, the fact that the show came out in this fanfare of Kermit and Piggy are not together and Kermit's dating someone else, I'm like, what is that? Like, you just don't need to manufacture these things. The Muppets have found a million conflicts without resorting to that kind of like real human
right. Yeah.
interpersonal drama. It's just not necessary for these characters.
You know, what's interesting is there are basically like 2 different versions of the Muppets that we're talking about. There are what you just described. The Muppets are movie stars. In this world that we live in, the Muppets are huge stars. They've starred in films. They've had several TV series. You know, when the Muppets show up in a commercial, it's a big deal. But like in universe, it kind of goes back and forth. Sometimes Miss Piggy's a big star, and sometimes Miss Piggy is being laughed at because she's a lady pig who can't hold a note, who thinks she's a star. Or like Gonzo is this weird artist that nobody understands. Fozzie Bear is this like terrible comedian who can't get a joke out. And so, you know, which are they? And the series in question, like, it doesn't really address it. It doesn't really make a decision of like which version are we going with. Because like Kermit's kind of being recognized out on the street by Jason Bateman or whatever, but at the same time he's like just a producer on a show. Like, he's not on camera at all. It's kind of baffling.
It's legitimately baffling, and I'm trying to sort of like figure out, like, because I can like, and the thing is with any show, you can't point to any with a show like that, with that many like kind of cooks in the kitchen, that many people who, you know, people in charge of the network, people in charge of the franchise, people in charge of whatever. You know, there's just a million. You're servicing so many different things that it is bound to kind of like get a little wonky. It's like always a miracle when something like the Jason Segel Muppet movie happens, and it's like, oh, this like is a reboot that sort of retained the original. Like, it's just like a miracle when something like that occurs. And I think this was an instance where it was just sort of like the other version of that, things that go wrong, things went wrong. I think it's also because like there was a really particular kind of show in like 2015 that they were trying to keep it on track with. Like, they wanted to air like alongside Modern Family, and I think that we should make talking head shows illegal at this point. Like, I think if your show requires an aside to camera to frame a joke, it's like, it's been done as well as it's going to be done.
Well, I know there was hope.
It stops the action. It's not like, I don't think it's a.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was hope.
I don't like it as a device anymore.
Yeah, when the Muppets TV series was announced, which, by the way, I hate that the name of the show is just the Muppets, because I can't just say the name of the show. Like, you have to know. Like, I can't say the Muppets. I could be talking about the movie, the show, the
It's
brand,
so
the
bad
Muppets.
for SEO.
It's terrible.
I don't
Oh,
know
for
why
sure.
they did that.
Yeah, it's terrible. But in any case, when the show came out, was announced, and it was going to be like a docu-series or whatever, mockumentary series. The hope from us was, like, we were thinking back to like 1976. The Muppet Show comes out. It's a variety show, and there were a lot of variety shows on TV at the time, but the Muppet Show was kind of the last one. It kind of did the variety show concept so well, while also poking fun at it, that nobody else wanted to do a variety show after that. So we were kind of hoping that this mockumentary style would be the same thing, especially because in the teaser video that we saw, there's a really good gag where Gonzo makes reference to like we cut away to his talking head, and he's like, "Oh, you know that thing that I hate is when you cut away to the talking head and you say one thing and then you cut back to the action and he says it's a completely opposite thing. That's a terrible idea." And it cuts to the other Gonzo. That's a great idea. And it's like,
Yeah,
great, you're playing with it, but they didn't do any of that in the series.
I love that initial teaser. It was like so nothing like what that was, though. You know, like,
right. It's what we wanted the show to be.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't play. It didn't play with that element of it at all.
No, and they could have, and they didn't. And I feel like that was their big downfall, especially because the Muppets are so good at doing parody, and they didn't end up doing parody. They just did a straight mockuseries comedy.
They did it really straight, and it's like, I don't understand why you would waste the opportunity to do your Muppet Show doing this show. That show was a very generic behind the scenes of a talk show that the Muppets happened to be in, but it felt like they were playing other characters. Like, it was weird. It could have been a sketch within another Muppet universe.
Right. You know, now that I'm thinking of it, you mentioned 30 Rock earlier. I wonder, was this show less 30 Rock and more Studio 60?
Oh God, yeah. You know what? The 30 Rock comparison is too generous, I think. It is a little Studio 60. In that, like, it's a show where it feels like the idea of what a late night show is from people who have maybe not worked on a late night show.
Right.
Although I do believe a lot of the people who were involved in that show did work in late night. I think, but like, based on what I know, I just don't know that, you know, I think a lot of it's just the Deus Ex Machina of the network and the, you know, people. It's just these shows. It's like you totally see where things kind of go off the rails, and it's never like the fault of one person in that process or the fault of one department in that process. It's just that these are big, unwieldy projects, and like,
yeah.
I think at the time I had a lot more like, who's doing this and why, this is wrong. And now, having rebooted shows, having, you know, gone through, you know, just having gone through more of like the development process in a bunch of different ways, and having a little more experience, I'm like, it makes total sense why this would have been a real beast to try and create something that like really captured the spirit of it, given the parameters.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was for sure disappointing just because it seemed like it had so much potential.
Was there anything about the show that you liked? We've been bashing the show. Not that it doesn't deserve to be bashed, but you know, you reviewed every episode of it. Is that correct? For Vulture?
I did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a while. I truly don't remember. And
that's okay.
There was an episode where it did feel, the Free the Tail episode felt to me like the one that was the best version of what I thought that show could have been.
Sure. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, like something happens to one of the Muppets, and the response is all of the Muppets get in on the action to try and fix it, and it sort of gets crazy. And that's, I think, the spirit of what the Muppets is.
Yeah, that's nice, and that's the appropriate amount of heart, I find. You know,
yeah, because they're heart, but they're not like pure. They're like kind of, you know, they all are like these different neuroses writ large.
Right. Yeah.
but they do care a lot about each other, and that's the sort of wonderful thing about it. Also, there was an episode where they did sing the Rainbow Connection, and I will never not cry. So it works. That's a magic trick on me.
It's so funny whenever someone tells me that. For me personally, I've heard the song so many times. It's not that I'm getting sick of it, but it's like, the Muppets sing a lot of other songs. I don't know why we keep going back to that well. But then I hear people say what you just said, and it's like, well, that's why they keep doing it.
That and because I think it's just the most, like, that's the original Muppet movie is so beautiful. It's so great, and that opening is perfect.
Yep.
And that closing is perfect. The version of the song that it closes on, I think, makes me cry even more.
I mean, I get it. It's not. It has nothing to do with the song. My distaste, and distaste is even too strong a word, but like, it has nothing to do with the song. It has nothing to do with the emotion behind the song. It definitely has nothing to do with the Muppet movie, which is a perfect film. It's just that, like,
they have better songs, like, from a actual, like, this song goodness level. But as far as, like, emotion attached to it, I think that's where it's coming from.
Seth Rogen did a Netflix special last year or the year before, and they had, like, Kermit and Fozzie were there, and they came out with, it was like Seth Rogen and Kumail Nanjiani, and I don't remember who else was on stage, and they all sang "The Magic Store" from the Muppet movie, which is one of the last songs near the end of the film.
Yeah,
and it was so awkward. It was like nobody really knew the song, and everyone was off key, and they're all, like, kind of just staring into the camera. Like, not doing anything, and it's like, oh, maybe that's why they sing Rainbow Connection. It's a little awkward, but it's like everyone knows Rainbow Connection.
Because I feel like there are second tier cuts they could have gone to, like, Fork in the Road maybe, or like there are other songs that people would be like, oh, that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Magic Stores really made it.
Yeah, probably not
into, like, the public domain.
Someday we'll bring it back. Someday we'll find it. The Magic Store.
Aww. I actually learned that song as the Reading Connection as part of a third grade pageant.
The Reading Connection? Do you remember any of the lyrics?
It's someday we'll find it, the Reading Connection, the authors, the readers, and me.
Oh,
I don't know why we were separate from the readers, but they also had no. So that song I knew was a parody of the Rainbow Connection because I had seen the Muppets. But that show, we also did a parody of the Cheers theme song, which I did not know was a theme song to a TV show till many years later.
Wow. And what was that one? Now you have to sing that too.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think if I know any of it. I do know the part that goes, reading it makes the world go round and round. I haven't thought of this for so long. It was, what year would this have been? Like 1999? I'd, like, never seen Cheers. I didn't know what Cheers was.
Right, because Cheers had also been off the air for a long time at that point.
Yeah.
And you're a child.
And I was 8 years old. I had no idea what was happening.
I remember being in a play when I was in fourth grade, all about like healthy eating and stuff. And every once in a while, one of the songs will, like, pop into my head, and I'm like, why? Like, I can't remember like math, but for some reason that song's stuck in my head all these years, and I'll just be like eating.
Do you remember any?
I do. Well, the part that I always think of is, you are what you eat, from your head to your feet, so be sure to eat what is good for you. And I don't remember much else beyond that.
Oh my God. That's like the Bob's Burgers version of what a healthy eating play would be.
Right, yeah. It didn't actually teach us anything. It taught us that healthy eating is a concept. And that's it. And sometimes it rhymes.
It's important.
Yes.
I remember we did a lot of, like, more or less public domain or musicals that were written so that public schools could do them, basically.
Right.
Like, they weren't, like, there was, like, a Lewis and Clark one. There was, like, a Old West one. It just wasn't, these weren't, like, big musicals. Like,
right.
We couldn't afford Oklahoma, but we could afford, like, Westward Woe.
I want to see, like, adults put these on, like, with complete sincerity.
That's a brilliant idea. It would be to get the rights to some of these, like, middle school musicals and just have a cast of like really fantastic adult actors.
Yeah.
And like that's a brilliant idea.
All right, you can
Just
take that
get,
one
like,
for free. You can do whatever you want with that one. That's a fun idea.
Can I? I'm like, I feel like I could see that going up at like Largo or something, and just be like, how do we get all these like musical theater nerd, grown up to put on this?
Like, wouldn't you pay money to see like Daveed Diggs sing about healthy eating?
Absolutely. I think. Holy shit, that's such a brilliant idea.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna make it happen.
Wait, I love this. This is a great idea as a live show. Yeah, you get you get people who are like, I feel like the Lin-Manuel Mirandas of the world would be into it, and then you're just like, I want to see that version of this show.
Well, and they're like deliberately simple, so it's not like it'd be hard to like memorize the lyrics. It'd take you like 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, it would not be a difficult rehearsal process.
No, not at all.
You don't have to be off book.
Wow. All right, we're gonna make that happen. All right, on the next podcast, we're gonna talk about how our musical went.
I know. Oh, I love that. I'm like literally running through my head of like, okay, who's the person I call to be like, how do I make this happen? Because I think that's a genius idea.
and see, what you're doing right now is you're being Kermit the Frog. You're running a show. It's gonna be chaotic. It's probably gonna be bad, but we're gonna lean into it, and people are gonna respond.
I relate to Kermit the Frog because I never know what's happening until I'm about to go on stage, or like until something's about. Like I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna see. I don't know. Like I never know. I never feel like I know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm like, just gotta believe in the talents of the people around me and make it come together.
Yeah, it's like jumping out of the.
Maybe I relate more to Scooter.
I feel like it's like jumping out of the back of a car, where it's like if I just keep running, then maybe I won't fall on my face.
Exactly.
So just to like go back like a quick second. So like we said, you wrote all the reviews of the Muppets TV series for Vulture.
I did.
I assume you were already a Vulture writer at that point.
I was. Yeah, I'd been doing. I'd been writing for them for like 2 or 3 years, I guess.
So how did you get the assignment? Did you ask for it, or did they tell you? Just tell you like you're going to be writing about Muppets for the next year? I
think they literally were just like, hey, do you have any interest in covering Muppets? And I was like, that's the only interest I have.
like I've been working here for 3 years.
For somebody to say this.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Did they? I mean, I assume they gave you screeners, but did you ever get anything from Disney or any access to anything? I don't recall you doing any interviews, but maybe I just don't remember.
No, not at the time. I don't know if I did any interviews in connection with it because I used to cover like New Girl and I covered Broad City. I've covered a couple shows where like I did also then do the interviews for the cast and stuff, but I don't think I ever did that with the Muppets, and I don't think I really had any like Disney perks, except that I did get a job at Disney kind of based on it. So that's
right. Yeah.
Maybe the biggest Disney perk.
That's a great perk.
Yeah.
It's like then you get
really
a salary.
That Silver Pass was no joke.
Is that like the Disneyland thing?
Yeah.
Oh, so jealous.
much.
Do you still have it?
But like,
do you still have access?
No.
They took it away from you?
You have to turn it in.
Oh,
you
no.
turn it in. It's like, when you leave, you turn it in.
But do you get like... I mean,
listen, I have an annual pass. I go to Disneyland.
Okay, you and I are going to go to Disneyland next time I'm in town because
please,
that sounds dope.
Yes, I would love to. I will go to Disneyland a million times.
Great.
Always.
Okay, it's happening. Or do you get
truly my favorite
Universal Studios now that you're working with Rugrats?
No, well, I'm not at Nick anymore, but also I didn't. I don't think that was
terrible.
A connection.
Terrible.
But that said, I also go to Universal all the time. Like I'm like, you know what? It's worth it to me to just like have passes to these places because I love theme parks.
Totally.
Halloween Horror Nights is coming up.
Oh yeah.
So wait, and also Universal is like 15 minutes from me, whereas Disneyland is like an hour. So
right. So I want to ask you about Rugrats though. So we were talking earlier about just the concept of like these soft reboots. with like these
Yeah, I
familiar
probably can't
characters.
talk too much about it.
Ah, okay. Well,
As
we
a
could
heads
talk
up, but
super
the
vaguely.
idea of reboots we can talk about. Yeah, let's talk vague.
I mean, just like how challenging is it to basically be handed these pre-existing characters and say, okay, create new stuff.
I think like it's especially weird when it's something you have like a very personal connection to, because you're like, I feel part of the audience that I don't want to let down. And but like you were saying, like you can still remember like the healthy eating show. Like I remember everything about Rugrats. Like
Yeah.
It's crazy how it popped into my head, and like I was like, oh, I know all the words to Reptar on Ice, and like why do I like? It's just the stuff that like sticks in your brain. I think when you're a little kid, like
Yeah.
part of what I like about writing for kids TV is that you're never going to write anything that's more like indelible to a person. Like anything I like, and I love the work I'm doing that's geared towards adults, but like there's something more disposable about adult entertainment, because like you can watch a sitcom and you'll remember what happened, but it's not going to, like, 10 years from now, from like, what's the plot of this episode of this show? I don't think you're going to be able to tell me. Whereas if it's a Simpsons episode you saw when you were 12, you'll tell me everything about it. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. That's 100% true for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like I remember stuff from my childhood so much better than I remember stuff that I, professionally recapped or have. I remember stuff that I watched on Disney as a kid better than I remember episodes I wrote for Disney 2 years ago. And it's just because like as an adult, like you have so much more going on. As a kid, you're like, this is one of my first things I'm absorbing about the world.
Totally. I also find that like those things,
funny, yeah.
like when I was a kid, I rewatch things a lot. Like if I like this thing, I'm going to keep watching it. And nowadays there's so much, especially now with like, there's all these streaming networks, there's a million things to watch. I'm never, ever going to catch up on all the TV I want to see, not to mention all the movies, and not to mention like the free time where I don't want to be watching TV and movies, but like I'm always doing something new. Like it's rare for me to like go back and watch something old because there's something that people have been telling me the last 2 years I have to go watch. So like these things aren't imprinting in my memory as well, even if they could now as an older human being, but like not as well,
I
as
think
like
what you brought up is a good point though, which is that like there's such a huge array of entertainment available to us now that when you're a kid, it's like, and I think it is a little different for kids right now, but like because they have the entirety of the internet. But when we were kids, it was pretty much like Disney or Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like maybe Cartoon Network.
I mean, for me, like we had like Saturday morning cartoons, and then like we had like the Disney afternoon after school, and like that was it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're not, the things that you're being presented with is a very small portion of things, and you just have to kind of keep rewatching them, and they would keep playing them.
Yeah.
And kids have like, when kids like something, like, every 3-year-old I know has like the movie that I'm like, I ask their parents like, okay, what's their like movie that you've watched 40 billion times? And they're like, oh God, if I have to watch Frozen again. It's just like,
yeah,
kids
kids
have
love
this endless
repetition.
appetite for it.
Yep, that's true. And it's funny too, like everything we're talking about also relates back to the Muppets, because those Muppet Show episodes that I saw as a kid are so ingrained, they're etched into my brain. And like I have such a love for them. And then this TV show from a few years ago, it's like, well, I watched each episode once, and I don't really think about it that often, and I don't really remember most of what happened. And I mean, maybe someday I'll rewatch it, but like only because I run a Muppet fan site, not because it's like I have this love for it that I want to revisit those memories.
Right. I mean, I was paid to think about it, and I haven't.
Oh, what's that like? What's that like to be paid to watch Muppet things? That's a rhetorical question.
I mean, that was amazing. Like, I was paid to like write about it, but in my head, I'm like, wow, I'm just gonna, like, I would have been watching this anyway. Like, this is a nice perk.
Yeah.
Like, it's like whenever it hits you, and it doesn't even have to be the best thing. It's just like the specific age and moment in your life where it hits you, and you're like, man, this is just. It's just in there forever. Like, etched is a good word for it. It's like anything. I could lose all of my memories of anything else, but I'm like, I'm gonna know the theme song of like every Nickelodeon show from like 1993 to 2001, like until I die.
Yeah, it's there
Like,
forever. Yep. So
it's just there.
So as a comedy writer, as someone who works in television, have you ever thought about, like, hypothetically, if Muppet Studios at Disney came to you to say, okay, we want your pitch for the next big Muppet project? Do you have any thoughts on what that pitch could be?
Oh man,
That's
I
a
would
tough one, I know.
love that to happen.
All right, let's say, like, okay, 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to make it. It's not like the thing that's going to define your career because you're thinking about it for 10 whole seconds. But if there's anything that you could pitch, like,
I know,
right now.
but I'm like, what would my take be? I mean, I would literally just want to bring it back to brass tacks and do a sketch show. Like, because I just have so much love for sketch comedy. I would just want to kind of go back to, so the Muppets that was like in my age range was Muppet Show Tonight.
Yeah, Muppets Tonight from the 90s.
Muppets, yeah, from the 90s Disney show.
Sure, yeah.
And that show I so distinctively remember as being like the first sketch show that kind of got to me. That I was like, oh, that's like, this is sketch comedy. And so I think I'd want to like really just do sketch.
That makes a lot of sense. The variety format has been dead for a long time. And, I've heard people say, like, if Maya Rudolph can't bring it back, then, like, we're not having a new variety show. It's just not happening. So, but sketch is still
the sketch
huge.
Show, yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, really,
that's as close as we're going to get to, like, a true variety show.
And, like, really, what's the difference, right? Like, it's a subtle difference. It's like, there's not, like, necessarily a host.
Right.
A sketch show could, a lot of sketch shows have through lines, or at least things that connect them.
Well, I think you do it with like interstitials so that you get the characters, because there's no point in doing the Muppets if it's literally just them doing, playing other characters. Like, you have to have at least the framing device of, we are also, these people trying to put on this show.
Right, and then you get like the chaos backstage that the Muppets are,
which
so
is literally what the original Muppet Show was. But I guess that's what I'd want to do.
Yeah. See, like, it's not that hard.
I want to do genre parodies. I love genre parodies with Muppets. I think that's kind of like the perfect thing for them.
What sort of genres
genre
would you love to see the Muppets tackle? Like, what sort of genre?
I'm trying to think what's like a modern genre that I think they'd be right for.
I mean, like,
like whatever the Muppets like sketch of like not even genre, but like the Muppets doing like a take on Drag Race would be.
Oh, that's funny.
Something I could see them doing.
Yeah. Right.
Like, because like another campy thing, or
right.
like the Muppets take on or like a really prestige, like really really gritty prestige drama with Muppets is always funny.
Yeah, like I do like the idea of doing the Muppets doing comedy, but the visual style of what we're watching does not fit what we're used to. Like, like if it was a shot like True Detective or something.
Right, exactly. Like,
I don't know why.
It would be called like True Pig Detective.
All right.
And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like, that's what I.
Right. It writes itself.
I think it writes itself, and it's. I think that'd be fun. That's what I want to do with it.
Awesome. I would totally watch that show. I mean, obviously, I would watch that show, but I would want to watch that show.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Muppets are just they're so great, and they're so like, I think I already used the word enduring, but it's like they're never not fun to watch. It doesn't matter how old you are.
I mean, enduring is a really good word for it, because not many franchises, I should say, have lasted this long. And obviously a big part of that is the fact that, like, they're puppets. So, like, you don't, like, the performers, may retire or pass away, but the characters can continue to live on and look and sound pretty much exactly the same.
Exactly.
And so it's like, yeah, we just need to, like, keep them fresh for younger audiences and keep people interested, as opposed to, like, I guess we're doing a Cheers reunion, and then we're getting all these old timers back together, and
Right, and you could see it. It's like that's
yep.
yeah.
So getting off topic for just a quick second, can you tell me a little bit
Yes.
about Project You Are Okay?
I can. It was this teen mental health nonprofit I started in 2014. It sort of makes so the initial idea was it was going to make digital content for teens, young adults struggling with mental illness. Sort of the idea being teens are already doing this for each other, so let's kind of create a safe and supervised environment for that to happen, and not ask them to sort of like relearn the wheel to participate in this version of the conversation, but just like go to like where they are and like have a presence on Tumblr, have a presence on Twitter, have a presence on YouTube. And it in 2016 was acquired by the Child Mind Institute, so they've been running it ever since, and I have been tangentially involved. It's not my primary thing anymore. But it's now, I think, more of like a teen resource within this really cool, much larger organization that provides not only resources, but also like counseling and mental health services of all kinds to kids and families across income, across whatever barriers there may be to seeking mental health treatment. Like their goal is to try and bridge that gap, to try and get as many kids as possible, the help that they need with any sort of, like not just mental illness, but like learning disorders, any sort of challenge that's outside the purview of like a physician.
That's great.
I think that's a really cool organization, and they're, it's a big organization that's based in New York right now, but they're expanding, and it's really, really awesome. And so it's cool to have this thing that I created be like even just a small part of that.
That's awesome. Especially, you work with, children's television. Big Hero 6 is like popcorn for the kids, and then they get a little bit older, and like they're really realizing they have issues they need help with, and like you're still here to help them with that next stage of life. So I think that's awesome.
I've never even thought about that. I love that. I think of it all kind of as like it's all part of the same mission for me, because I think like for me the desire to write TV and the desire in particular to write comedy sort of came from this place of like what's helped me the most cope with my own mental illness. And it's like, to me, like being able to escape for 23 minutes at a time into like a sitcom has been just, the most important thing. And the ability to be able to provide that to somebody else is huge. And in kids TV, it's like you're giving kids a context. You're helping shape their view of the world, and you're giving them like something that feels kind of safe. And I think that's really important. And Big Hero 6 in particular, it's all about like science, and it's all about like, the movie deals like brilliantly with grief, and the show touches on that too. And it's about characters helping each other through different problems using like science and inclusion and just all this stuff that I think is like really valuable. So
right. Well,
it all feels very part and parcel to me.
They're like it's like real life things that they get help that they're helping with, not like, oh, and so I use my super strength. It's like, well, no, we have the kids who are watching at home, like they have tools, they have compassion, they have there are things that they can ask for from their parents or their friends or whatever. And
all the things that the characters ultimately use is stuff that is available too. Yeah, exactly. And the biggest, it's like the message is like the biggest tool you have is being able to ask for help from other people. And I think that's the most important lesson.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right. So last question for you, and then we will wrap up. It did not come up in conversation naturally, so I got to ask you, who is your favorite Muppet?
man, this is a great question. I have a deep well of love for the Electric Mayhem.
Oh, as a whole.
What?
Like the Electric Mayhem as a whole is your favorite.
As a whole, I know, but I was about to say maybe Janice. Like, if I had to be like, what Muppet do I like go back to the most often, as being like, I absolutely love this. I love everything about her. I think she's just great. I like that there is just a cool stoned lady at the center of this, not the center, but in the mix of this children's franchise. But you know, Miss Piggy's such a bad bitch. I love her.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's an obvious answer, but she's just this cool, like, body positive, like, really kick-ass female figure in entertainment. And she's like not afraid of her own power. It's nice. I'm a big old Miss Piggy stan.
That's awesome.
But like, but I probably relate the most to Scooter, as I think I said.
Yep.
And that I'm constantly anxious about the things that might not be working out, and like constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. And like, personality wise.
Does your mom have a boyfriend that you don't get along with as well?
That's unfortunately where the similarities stop, or fortunately where the similarities stop.
Yeah, probably for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more like I relate heavily to stage management as like somebody in a behind the scenes capacity.
Yeah.
Of like being this sort of attempting to keep like chaos on track, which is also a very Kermit quality.
Yes, for sure. Great.
So yeah,
those are great answers. That's a great trio of favorite Muppets. No, good choices. Good choices.
Three very different choices.
Yeah, well, it's like one of those. Sorry, go ahead.
The only thing I truly loved from the new Muppets is that Uncle Deadly was the funniest character.
Oh my God, consistently.
Everything he said delighted me.
Yes. No, Uncle Deadly is amazing, and I'm so glad he's back in the zeitgeist now because of that show.
Me too. I'm like, what a weird reach for them to pull from, and what a choice to make him like the very like catty costume designer.
Yeah, he's just like a creepier Tim Gunn.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Creepier Tim Gunn is a great way to put it.
Yeah. Not a creepy Tim Gunn, because Tim Gunn's already a little creepy. He's creepier. Tim Gunn.
Yeah, he's just got this. Yeah, I feel like the Muppets would do like the new Queer Eye, like if they were on now.
Oh my God,
had to do like a parody.
I would watch that so hard.
And like Uncle Deadly as Tan France, like absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna cast this now.
Wait. Now I want to cast it.
You want to cast it? Okay.
Yeah, because I think Scooter is Bobby. I think.
Yes, correct.
Maybe like Pepe is Karamo.
Karamo seems really level-headed. I feel like Karamo is more of like a Kermit in that way. No?
But I think like if you were casting this, like you would cast the character who thinks they give the best advice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you're not necessarily casting the character who's the most qualified.
Pepe is such a horn dog. He's such a like.
That's fair.
And he has no censor. Karamo is probably the least Muppety of any of them.
He is. That's why that's the hardest.
Yeah.
He doesn't like JVN would be like, oh man, that's hard because Jonathan is kind of a Muppet.
He very much is.
Like he might just play himself.
He's got a bit.
I think he might be the one you just.
No, you're totally right.
What?
No, I was gonna say he's got a bit of Pepe in him, but you're totally right. Like I would actually want to see Jonathan Van Ness with, 4 other Muppets.
I would just have him play himself, like he's the guest, and then you have 4 other Muppets, and you have God, let's see.
I mean, it's easy
we have Anthony.
It's easy to say Anthony is the Swedish chef because they're both the food guys.
The Swedish chef,
but he doesn't act like the Swedish chef.
No, but I mean, if you wanted to have a food thing, that's like I feel like you'd do. I feel like you'd be, and I feel like okay, wait, food, culture.
Wait, yeah, who are we forgetting?
Fashion, hair,
Yeah.
home.
God, who are we forgetting?
Who are we not
Wait,
getting?
there's Anthony,
I think we
Tan,
covered everybody.
Karamo, Jonathan, and a fifth one. Oh no. Anthony,
Wait,
Tam,
Bobby.
Karamo.
I already said, but I
and
already
Bobby.
said it was Bobby.
Oh, you did say Bobby. Yes.
Yeah. I think Bobby is Scooter because Bobby does the most work but gets the least love for it.
And then which Muppet are they making over?
I was just thinking that. Probably Gonzo because like you want the scene of them going through his house and being like, "What is this?" And he'd have the weirdest stuff, and also like he's been nominated by his chicken girlfriend Camilla.
Yep.
And just like a scene of Camilla like balking and explaining what's wrong with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can also see Gonzo like they're trying to fix him, but Gonzo ends up turning the tables on all of them and ends up driving them all crazy.
Yeah. I think this is great. I think between this and our show where like professional actors do like really dumb teen musical things.
Yes. Yeah,
honestly, that could probably be a digital series too, but I feel like you should do it at like somewhere where people could come pay money to see it.
I mean, we're basically taking over Hollywood right now in this podcast.
Yeah, we've really, this is great.
All right, well, Jenny, we can close out right there, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on the internet at Jenny Jaffe is just the best way to find me. Twitter, probably the best, or Instagram, but that's like, less is there. And then, you can check out projectyouareok.org if you're interested.
Great. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the podcast. Please give us a good rating and tell all your friends to listen. And thank you for reading toughpigs.com. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
15 Seconds to Curtain is hosted and produced by Joe Hennis.
Edited by Jared Fairclough.
Logo artwork by Dave Haltine and Jay Fosgit.
Theme music by Stacy Rosen.
This has been a Muppet Fan Podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com.
I can't believe I spent money on this.
Dude, it was free!
Well, that makes sense. I guess you get what you pay for.